welcome. I'm Helen and with me is Pat Taylor, and we're here for Woman's Hour. So before we go any further, today's hot topic is about motivation to move. We're a change of season. We're coming now into the final quarter of the year, and normally this is quite a busy time of year for people setting actions leading up to Christmas and winter. So let's get in touch with us and talk about how you can be motivated, what motivates you, are you motivated at all, and is there anything we can do to help you?
So you can join us in the conversation by calling us here at the Chaos Studios on 01872 228844, or you can email us at hello@thisischchaos.co.uk. But coming up,
yeah, we got a wonderful guest speaker coming on today, and we are going to talk about suicide prevention. And we're going to speak to a woman that I came across probably, 10 years ago. I first met her, and her son had taken his life. Now, this may trigger some people, so we will be putting up some details if you want to reach out and talk to us or others around this subject, because we are aware that it is a very sensitive subject. And I want to give Michelle the best of us today when we talk to her about her life, because she is a true inspiration to me. So that will be coming up.
Yeah, we've also got a discussion about making healthy meals without running up your energy bills. And we'll be talking about different ways that you can kind of go help yourselves to bring those energy bills down.
Okay, but first, let's talk about motivation to move. Now, quickly, before we make this a joint conversation, last time we did Woman's Hour, I was in a sling and I was bitten. We had Catgate, and I was bitten by the cat, and I was in a sling, and I have literally not moved a single part of me since then, because it's been really hard and it's been really debilitating having a poorly finger and hand. It's ridiculous. But actually, I've been saying to Pat over the last 2 weeks, I've gone from I couldn't wait to get back to exercise and fitness, which is in my lifeblood, to I'm starting to lose my mojo, and it's really hard. And I think because I used to teach so much fitness and do so much exercise that I have literally fallen off the wagon, and it's really hard to find that thing that motivates me. So I've done a couple of weird things. I had a go at doing a spin class, which I love. I went back to spin probably 2 weeks too soon, because you have to grip things. But then I accidentally booked a yoga class, which I thought was restorative yoga last night, and it nearly killed me. It wasn't restorative. Menopause for you. I'd actually booked the wrong day. And then this morning, I went and had a Pilates session, again, going back to basics, what motivates me. What I found was I am totally buzzing.
You are.
I loved it. I love being, even though I'm completely out of my depth all over again, I've got a huge mountain ahead of me to get back to where I was before Catgate. And it's hard. It's really hard to be motivated. And that comes back to what goes on here, that intrinsic motivation, but also what is it around you that we can help people to be motivated? Yeah,
and I prefer to exercise with my pack. So I prefer to exercise when you're there, when my friends are there, when we're in a group that we know.
Yeah.
And so because you haven't been going, and it was the summer and it was nice and warm, I haven't been going very much really. And the last time I was here, I did the little dance session outside, which was a bit crazy. It was fabulous, and it was boiling hot, so we all got a bit hot and sweaty, but it was lovely. But it gave me that motivation then to think, we used to love going to dance sessions, didn't we? And we went then to a dance session when you were better.
Yeah.
And we were
cracking up laughing.
Yeah, cracking up laughing, absolutely loving rocking out those moves as if you're in your kitchen, nobody's watching.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. And gone back to pump as well, which is really hard, and it's that love-hate relationship, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the same with spin. I don't particularly like spin. I do like it. I don't like being really hot and sweaty, but I love that feeling at the end of the session. And you feel like, not smug, but you feel like you've done something really good for yourself.
Well, that's serotonin and dopamine.
Yeah.
So when you are exercising, so let's just forget about paying a membership to go to a club, because we're in a good position to do that.
Yeah.
And actually, we know that motivates us. So
Yes.
I don't go out much, and I don't particularly, like, as far as I'm concerned, my investment in me is my club membership.
Yeah.
But, you know, whatever it is, so let's go with a good walk. So, and you fancy going on a dog walk, and that one, when you've done your walk and you get home and you feel like your skin feels the wind, and your hair smells salty, and you know you've got that, you know when you've been outdoors, you've got two amazing hormones that have kicked off in your body, dopamine and serotonin. And these are real happy hormones. And it's trying to come back and capture those each time. Because I know sometimes we get sore if we're trying to wait, and we fear pain. So many people don't like starting again because they remember how the pain was before. But actually, if we could just bottle that sense of joy when you've just got up from a session or a walk or a swim or whatever it is, and then if you can tap into that and just keep coming back to that wonderful feeling that goes on in your body, then we're on to a big winner.
Yeah, and I think for me, sometimes because I have the app, I have an app that counts how many steps I've done and how much exercise I've done, and to watch that can be a really motivating tool for people and they're free apps.
Yeah.
And you can clock how much you've eaten, but clock how much exercise you've had, and just to see how much work you've given yourself, you know, how much exercise you've performed and how many steps is great. It's a great motivation. And you used to have a little family step off, didn't you?
Yeah, we used to compare. We still do it, to be fair. But we used to monitor how much we're all doing. And at night before going to bed, I'd be trying to do little steps next to the bed just to make sure I got
with
more.
my hands, with my arms.
More steps and
cheat.
But it is very difficult, and routine is a good. It's getting into habits, and I worry that we have been talking about this in the fitness industry for a gazillion years. We talk about motivation, intrinsic motivation, which that inside that. Not all of us have that ability to get up and go and do exercise, and many of us resent those people because they get right on my nerves. Only because I wish I was one of those people. But the fitness industry have been talking about goal setting for years and changing behaviours and switching bad habits for good habits. It's like, but we still can't get people to be motivated. No. And I think that's such a hard thing. And so sometimes we have to kind of look at the reward. So what do you need to sacrifice to get to do the thing or be the thing you want to be? And sometimes sacrifice is one of those things. Like, I'll give you an example. Could you sacrifice takeaways in order to exercise? Switch out your takeaways. You could put that money that you'd spend in a takeaway into something else, and you get some money. So you have to give up your favourite thing, or give up your favourite TV show played live when you could actually watch it recorded, maybe.
Yeah.
But to sacrifice to get to that goal. So sometimes, you know, people ask for too big a goal. And it's nice to be able to go, well, let's just go small steps. Let's make a deal that we'll do 3 lots of exercise this week. One that's going to get your heart up, one that's going to set your soul on fire, and one that's going to make your bones feel good. So you can't see your bones getting stronger. You might feel your waist getting smaller maybe, but you'll definitely feel better.
Yeah.
And it's capturing that. So don't think it's about, you know, running a marathon or climbing a mountain. It can be just small things. So in the old days, the science would say you have to do 180 minutes of a certain exercise. I would just prefer you to just move more.
And I was going to say that there's always there can always be an excuse, can't there?
Oh, good, yeah.
I'm too busy, or I've got to do tea, or I'm too tired, or it's too dark, or it's raining.
Yeah.
What's that saying? You know, there's no such thing as bad weather. It's just bad clothing or something.
Yeah.
And, you know, so buy yourself some kit, or dig out your shoes and your raincoats and things, and go outside and have a walk, or just make that time for yourself. And it doesn't have to be an hour, 2 hours, does it? It can literally be 15 minutes. Out of your day at the best time that suits you, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and something that you touched upon a couple of days ago, Pat went to an exercise class. She'd woken up tired, massively fatigued, and you went along to a class. Now, talk me just... Okay. So, tell me about that.
Yeah, so I ummed and ahed, and I thought, I don't want to cancel because we get a black mark if we cancel don't give it enough time. So, and I went along and I thought, right, I'll give it a go. I'm really tired. And I did carry on, and I was so fatigued that I felt that I wasn't doing myself any favours, really. But I went down the weights, I dropped down my weight so I wasn't overwhelming my body. And I carried on with the session. I was so tired, but finished the session, and I felt great that I'd finished it, went for a coffee with a friend, and I went home and I slept for an hour. And then I didn't do very much for the rest of the day. And my husband said, you shouldn't have gone. And I was thinking, should I have gone? Shouldn't I have gone? I probably should have cancelled.
So in the old us in the fitness industry, so the moral of the story is this, there is no such thing as excuses. But on the flip side of it, if you're not feeling 100%, listen to what your body's saying. So you might feel totally energised. So cardio might be a good thing. A brisk walk would be a really good thing. Or you might be feeling quite tired or low. So maybe just be gentle to yourself and do something a bit more gentle, like stretching or a bit of yoga or Pilates, whatever it is. It is so important. I think in the old days, we used to try and rush to compare ourselves to each other and how many steps you can do. But actually what you need to do now more, I think, in terms of mental well-being, is to really listen to what your body needs, because your body will tell you. It will tell you when it wants to get in the sea and go cold. It will tell you if you need a walk. And it's really important to understand that too.
Yeah, I should have just gone for a walk. I should have just gone back to bed.
Yeah.
Had a little nap.
That doesn't hurt. Sleep's a good thing.
Yeah, and gone for a walk
Sleep
later.
is when we heal.
Yeah.
I have got a new puppy. Oh my God.
Oh, she's beautiful.
And I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to going on those walks with the pair of them, because one of ours is, I've got 2 dogs now. I've got 2 dogs.
2 dogs.
But one of ours has had a bit of a complete personality change, I think. Brilliant. And now she doesn't pull on the lead. So now I'm going to really look forward to those walks with those dogs in the winter on the stormy beaches. Oh, it's going to be great. Anyway, I digress. I keep talking about my puppy. You can always follow me on social media, because I honestly puppy spam.
You'll be puppy
everyone at the
spammed
moment.
every day, every hour.
Okay, so before we introduce Michelle Harper from Falmouth, what I'd like to say is we are going to put up some links. So if you want to share, or you want to talk to us, or you feel triggered by the following conversation, feel free, please, to get in touch. We ask you to reach out. Okay, so now our next guest is Michelle Harper, and Michelle, are you there?
Good morning. Good afternoon.
There she is. Good afternoon, my darling. It's really, really nice to see your face. So listen, I first met, I met you. You cleaned my house for me. That's how it started. You had a little cleaning job, and you had a pink hoodie. I remember it. And one day you were stood inside my bath, and you told me this story about your son. And I remember that moment, you stopped me in my tracks that day. And I've never forgotten that conversation. And I remember thinking, you're probably one of the most amazing women that I've actually ever come across. The way you held yourself that day and the way you talked to me blew my mind. So when we knew we had Suicide Awareness Day coming up this month, there are sadly lots of people we could come and talk to about it, but you were the first person that sprung to mind. So welcome, Michelle. It is really great to see your face. Would you be up for telling the story of Liam?
Yeah, sure. No problem at all. Liam was diagnosed with, sorry, I just had a message come through. Liam was diagnosed with clinical depression in 2009. So he was what was he, 19 at the time. But we think that the depression started a lot before then. But I didn't know an awful lot about it, never suffered depression myself. And I just thought at the time he was just like a moody teenager. At the time I was going through a divorce with his father, which obviously knocked his confidence an awful lot. And he was very, very upset by all of this, as were all three of my children. Sadly, Liam took his life in 2012 on February the 14th. He was living in Norway at the time. His father was living. So it was very, very difficult to get him home to the UK to have the funeral and everything. Oh God, yes, very, very, very difficult time, obviously, for all of us and his brother and his sister. He was a very remarkable young man. He was a fantastic artist. He was a tattoo artist, but his artwork was just amazing. He was a very kind, sensitive, caring, loving young man. Since his death, I had lots of people writing to me, telling me how much he had helped them through their difficult times. Sitting on the people, helping. And I often hear that some of the people had helped him as well, but sadly it just wasn't enough to keep Liam here with us. So since then, my family and I have done some charity work for CALM, that's Campaign Against Living Miserably. We've also done some charity work for Carrick Mind. And in time, I would like to do a lot more, but I'm going through a bit of a difficult time in my personal life at the moment anyway, so I've had to put a lot of things on hold. I don't quite know what else I can say, really. It's just such a hard thing to deal with. But somehow you do, one day at a time, you put one foot in front of the other and you move on and you keep living to keep his memory alive. I'm still here. Pulled the over my head and gone to sleep forever, but no, I'm still here. I've got two living amazing children and I've got two adorable grandchildren, so they give me the strength to carry on. And I want to keep going for Liam's memory anyway, because like I said, he's an amazing man.
Yeah, I've seen you post photographs of Liam on social media over the years, and it's really interesting, isn't it, that the creatives, there is now more information and more reporting of those that are a bit more creative, that are struggling with their mental health. Yeah. And 2012, we were still seeing mental health as an issue and a stigma, so much has changed, which is why it's so important to keep that conversation going. And it's the survivors, isn't it? It's those people around Liam that have to carry on with the story and carry on living the lives and do what's best. Tell me, so as a mother, Who was around you to support you through the early days?
I'm very, very lucky. I've got a very strong network of friends. I've got an amazing family. So my dear mum, my sister, my daughter, my eldest son, they were all there for me. Like I said, plus a network of friends who came in on a daily basis after we found out Liam had died. They gave me the strength to carry on and to see things through. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have done it without my friends and my family. I mean, my mum, bless her heart, she is amazing. She's one of the strongest women I know. And I just hopefully I get all my strength from her. And my daughter, she's also amazing. She's a very strong young lady. And my eldest son, he's had to deal with quite a lot since his brother's death, you know, and it's affected him. He now suffers PTSD. His sister has suffered with anxiety. So they've had their own struggles to deal with. And thankfully, they've both come through it really, really well. And they are remarkable young people. And I'm so very, very proud of them.
Yeah, because there is this part around resilience, isn't it? Because sadly, for all the cliches, life goes on, which people around you will be saying that. But actually, your life doesn't go on for quite a long time, does it?
No. It sort of went on hold for a while, and I did it because the company needed me and I had to go back to work and I needed to earn money as well. So, I wasn't allowed to just take as much time as I wanted. But in a way, it helped me ground myself and sort myself out and gave me the strength to carry on. It is a very, very difficult subject to talk about, but it needs to be spoken about kindly. And we just need to be there for each other and to support each other and look after each other. And if anybody knows of anybody who is suffering with depression, just be there for them. We don't always have the answers, but it's nice just to know that that person is there at the end of the phone. If you need to contact anyone, if you need to talk to anyone, you know that someone can answer the phone and not sort of go, oh, for goodness sake, not this again, you know. We'll be there and support you. And I was lucky. I had that with all of my friends and with my family. If I was feeling low, I knew that I could just contact them and have a coffee or go for a walk with the dogs and go for a walk, do anything really with friends and family. And they were there to support me.
And have you supported others that maybe their children or partners have taken their lives? Have you been there to support them, or is it too much?
I did try. I think it was about 2 years after Liam died. There was a lady called Anne who was my suicide liaison officer at the time. She asked me if I could talk to a couple of families, 2 separate families who had lost someone through suicide. And I did, but at the time it was too early, much too early. I think maybe now I'm feeling stronger and I understand a lot more about it, so I could possibly be there and help people in the future. But at the moment, I have to look after myself. Like I said, I'm going through another sort of stressful time in my life, which hopefully will soon be over. And then I can do something more positive for people. And I've recently done the mental health first aid course. Yeah. So, you know, if there's anyone out and about and I see that they're struggling, hopefully I can go over and help them and get them the help and everything that they need, you know.
Yeah. And that's an excellent piece of training. And both myself and Pat have done that training. And it does reinforce how God, what a different world we're in now, where we are talking about it. We are trying to beat those stigmas down and have that open conversation. And just even the language around suicide and attempting suicide, and now how even that's changed. And we talk about people taking their lives. It's like we're putting respect into a really raw and terrible conversation, and seeing those signs. I think that's the important thing, because you never know, do you?
No, you don't. No. I mean, with Liam, I had a conversation with him the night before he died, and we were planning for him to come home to Cornwall. And I was going to set up a room in my house where he could use it as his art studio. And he said to me at the time, he said, "Mum, I'm tired. I'm really tired." And I said, "Come on." I said, "It's going to be okay." I said, "You'll be home in April." I said, "If you need to come home before," I said, "just let me know. I'll come and get you. It's not a problem. We can sort this out. We can sort this out. It'll be fine. It's tough at the minute, but it will be fine." And then sadly, he took his life the next day. So, yeah.
And it's no, please, no. It's raw, and you don't. It must be. I can't even imagine how you feel, and it must be as raw today as it was then. And I think people must think. I'd imagine some people must think, "Oh, it was a long time ago. You get over it." But it's the type of thing you just don't.
No. A death of a child, you never get over it. It doesn't matter how that child died. You never get over it. Personally, I feel it's a tragedy, whatever happens. It's hard. Yeah, it's one of the things I would never want anyone, even my worst enemy, I would never want them to, experience this, because it's just, it is devastating.
Do you, with everything that's going on in the press at the moment around the energy crisis and where we are as the world now, do you worry about people's mental health?
Oh, of course, because it's going to hit a lot more people. Because, like you said, that the prices are going up. Everything is just getting so much more expensive. Food, fuel, energy bills. We're all thinking, where the hell is the money going to come from to pay all of these things? Yeah. So people's mental health will be affected, and people will be struggling. And they may, one night think, or one morning, I've had enough, can't do this anymore. And that's the worrying thing. I think we've all got to pull together here. We've all got to try and do whatever we can to support each other, and help each other through this crazy world that we live in at the moment.
I know. We only had a conversation actually on Chaos Radio on the weekend around what you choose. So, publicly we're talking about you either choose heat or food, but there's prescriptions too, right? And we've got to pay for medicine. So, I'm saying choose medicine first, because if you've got somebody who goes off their meds because they're opting food or heat, then that's going to make that situation so much more. Oh my! It's just, I don't even think we're talking about it enough.
No, we're not. And if it is a mental health prescription, then that's massive. It has a massive effect on that person's life.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've got a lot of messaging to do there in social media. Yeah, definitely. So Michelle, before we finish our chat, tell me, I want to know two things, because one is, I know you're saying life is stressful for you right now. It's not all, there are other great things that are going on in your life, right? You walk into a room and you light the room up. Oh yeah, you're so totally fabulous. The future, what's that going to look like for you?
The future for me, it will be whatever I make it. I wake up in the morning and I do my gratitude. I practice gratitude. I do my yoga. I've got two amazing grandchildren who I idolise and I dote on. I've booked a holiday. In 2 weeks' time, we're going on holiday with a group of friends, so that'll be good. Eventually the divorce will be over. I will be in a home somewhere. I will have my dogs with me. And my life will be what I make it. And the future's good.
Good.
Whatever happens. Good.
And do you have one piece of advice that you could share with us for our viewers, please?
Be kind, talk, try to talk. It's not always easy. But if you can just make that first step, there's always someone who will be there for you. And when we ask our friends and anyone we see, how are you today? Always ask them twice. Ask them, how are you? And if they go, oh, I'm fine. You go, no, come on. How are you really? And that's when you ask the second time, that's when you get the truth. So that would be my bit of advice. Always ask twice, how are you? How are you really? And then sit and listen to what they have to say. We don't always have the answers, but we can always sit with a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, a big hug, and time to listen to that person talking, and advise them to get any help which you feel that they need, or they know that they might need.
Absolutely.
Just listen.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, and I'm hoping that this was okay for you, because we had that conversation. We wanted to really respect you and give Liam the honour he deserves, and you really do make a difference in people's lives. So thank you for your time today, and we'll post up information as well if anybody wants to reach out to other organisations. But thank you, Michelle. Really value your time today.
Okay, thank you. Take care. Bye.
Brilliant.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
So just before we move on, again, we will post up any information should you feel the need to chat about this further. She's pretty wonderful, isn't she?
Yeah,
it's
amazing.
hard. It's really hard, and it worries me, because we run a program that is around a suicide prevention program for women in their midlife, and I'm finding that quite hard, and it's wonderful, but I do feel we're not even scratching the surface.
We're not, and we've got a few hundred women, and there's quite a percentage of them with problems, aren't there, and that are happy to share with us. But I worry about those that aren't happy to share, and they're sitting with that, and to know that actually just sharing that problem or those feelings can sometimes be really helpful, and like they say, sharing and can help to make it easier for you. So
and when we ran one of our first Menopause Muse as part of the Suicide Prevention Fund, which is funded by Public Health, when we first ran that session, there was some people were eye-rolling, weren't they, and going, oh my God, you're all going to talk about menopause, but actually it was this real safe space for women, and we laughed. And actually we spent a lot of time shining light on each other, and just like going, so glad to see you and that you're here, and it was really wonderful. We've still got a lot of work to do.
Oh, we do. But the feedback was, and it, as always, and we always say, it surprises us, but it shouldn't, that they weren't aware that other people would feel the same way that they do. And it was really refreshing that other people in the room were feeling like they were, because then it's not normal at all, but it normalises it, and it means that you don't feel like you're going mad or crazy, or that you've got dementia or something because you've got brain fog. So it just kind of really emphasises that what you're going through is real.
And when it comes to mental health in particular, you do think you are the only one suffering, and you do feel that you are alone. So when you're in the presence of 100 other women, and the majority of which are talking about their mental health, versus their mental well-being. So we see it slightly differently. So we think about their mental health on this sliding scale of okay to being medicalised and diagnosis, and then so we see that bit, but the balance of wellness is really important. So which sits back to how we started the conversation today about exercise activities. So there are things that you can do to support your mental well-being, which is really important, and it is getting those happy hormones on board, and that's what a lot of the medication is giving you doses of the right hormones to set any chemical imbalances that are going off in your body. So it's not you going crazy, it's just the way your body's wired, and there is ridiculous amount of help and support out there to not be ashamed of, to embrace it and get that support, because there are people that will sit and listen.
And it's not new to those people. It's like when you go for your ladies' annual smear, they've seen it all before, and people working in mental health or any of the professionals will have heard it before, so it's not a shock to them, and they are really well versed and well taught to know how to support you, and so it's important to know that it's okay to talk about it. It's the best thing to do.
So The other thing we're talking about is food, feeding yourself, and cost of food versus cost of energy.
Yeah.
We're not here. We haven't got time, quite honestly, to go through all the shenanigans of why the hell are we paying these massive bills. Don't get us on that soapbox today. But there are some top tips. And so it's what tends to happen for many families. If you're restricted on your food bills, you buy crap food. So it's processed food, which ultimately is not great for your body on a long-term basis. But I'm a massive advocate of batch cooking.
Oh, definitely.
And we've had great success with this over the years and supporting others. So it's amazing. We'll start with the great curry con. This is probably one of my favourite things that we've ever done. Everyone loves a good curry.
Yeah.
All Brits like a good curry. And my curry, I couldn't tell you if I had a recipe. It just changes from flavour to flavour. But when my kids were younger, it literally was a real good curry tip is to stick as many vegetables. You know the icky ones that are happening in the bottom of your drawer?
Not quite ready to throw out
Yeah,
yet,
and they're then a little bit leaky maybe, but they're not mouldy yet, but they're not pretty. So stick them in a pot with your onions and your leeks, whatever it is, keep chucking it in. And I think when we used to run this as a programme, the Great Curry Con, we used to have like 13 different vegetables that made up the curry sauce. And once you've got your curry flavourings in it as well, you whiz it all down so it then becomes just like a lovely sauce, and then you can bake it with meat if you want to, or just keep it as vegetarian. But that was the best thing. And we even mixed it down with steamed cauliflower, which we then fried with peas to make it like an egg fried rice and eggs.
Yeah.
And served it up. The kids would just lap it up when they were little. But if you told them that curry was full of peppers and cauliflower and courgettes, tomatoes, and there's a sweet potato thrown in, a few mushrooms. Like mushrooms, you don't get kids to eat mushrooms.
Adding cauliflower rice.
We were chucking all this stuff in, and it conned the kids, but we got good nutrition into the kids. It was really tasty. It was super mega healthy because it was fresh, and because you made it in this big vat, then what we did, we just used to freeze it and tell people to do this and freeze it up into little plastic tubs and chuck it in the freezer. So we had ready meals set up. And I think it cost something like, it worked out something like 80 pence per serving, because it was literally the old food, the way we worked it out. And because you made it en masse, it just worked out to be a really brilliant cost saving and healthy program, which is marvellous.
Yeah, we've done the same with chili. So I batch cook a big pot of mince, so onions, garlic, anything that you can add in, tomatoes and mushrooms. Mine don't like mushrooms, so I chop them really fine. I do a big bolognese sauce. I'll make a chili. I'll save some for shepherd's pie because my husband doesn't like chili. We'll save some for bolognese and lasagna. So that I've got 4 recipes out of one sauce, and it goes in the little plastic containers, put them in the freezer and take it out when I need to. And I've just bought, I know I've had to fork out for it. It's not a Ninja. I've got an air fryer. Not a Ninja, it's air fryer. But it's a good make. And it's just got three trays, and it's got a rotisserie in, so I can cook a small chicken in there in 30-40 minutes, done, cooked, and it's like eating a fried chicken. You can cook sweet potato fries or normal fries, and I just use the fry light, give them a squirt and a few herbs on it. You can cook anything, waffles, your little wedges, anything, pork chops, the lot, and it saves a lot of money opposed to putting on your cooker, because I think the cheapest thing to run is your microwave, then an air fryer, and then
Oh, really?
a cooker. I think we've got it down somewhere.
Exciting. Okay, should we post that up later?
Yeah.
Because I think that's quite interesting.
Yeah, so
there's another thought. So I think this is quite good for the environment. We have a meat-free Monday. So and we got into the habit. We're back on it. So I think lapsed with the summer a little bit, but we have a meat-free Monday, and we do that to, firstly, it's cheap. It's cheaper than meat, and then it works really well for the family. So we feel like we're doing a little bit of good for our little planet as well. Yeah. So meat-free Monday was our vegetarian option, and sometimes vegan. So we're giving that a go, plant-based food. Yeah. And we found that has been a bit fabulous as well. So the top tip.
Well, can I put in another tip? I've got 2 more tips. So my slow cooker's out again today. So I've got a big gammon ham. That's gone in. Loads of vegetables. Or again, a chilli or a curry. You can just chuck it in. You don't need to pre-fry it. And last night, after exercise class, we've got a new co-op. And there were so many yellow stickers, so cheaper at the end, like they were running out tomorrow. So I bought loads of food, chicken thighs, vegetables, bread, and I literally had bagfuls for about £10. So go in and at the end of the day and go and buy those foods that are running out of date and use them.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the yellow stickers.
Oh, I love a yellow sticker.
Marxies used to do that, didn't they?
Yeah.
And but even my mum said, as my mum's on her own, and my mum said she needs to get a mortgage to go and shop in Marxies. It's got a bit expensive, but they have got a cheaper range now, which is really important.
Yeah, most of them do now, don't they?
It's not about when you're trying to save money. It doesn't mean you have to compromise flavour or health, because you've got to look after your health. And I know, again, I keep calling everything eye rolling at the moment, because I feel that I feel like people go, oh God, they're on it again. But we haven't changed our message. We've been saying this stuff for 20 odd years, and it works. So you've got to look after your health first. So it's going to be a difficult one. It is about the plane is crashing. You have to put your oxygen mask on first. You have to look after yourself first, because if your health is impacted, what's that going to look like in the world around you? Who's going to look after your family? How are you going to get? How are you going to work? It's just. We just got to look out for each other. I think we've got a tough winter ahead, and forearmed, forewarned.
And if you've got extra food, give it to your old neighbour.
So me and my husband, we've decided, you contact me if you want to, but we'd like to do that. We do, I love Sunday roast, but my husband suggested, it was him that suggested it, about inviting one of our oldies.
I was going to invite you
for dinner. Cheeky Mary.
I'm older.
But it'd be nice to do that. Just invite somebody who's on their own round for dinner, or somebody that you know that would appreciate the company and a bit of wellness for the afternoon. You don't have to do anything fancy. It could be beans on toast, but they'll appreciate that bit of warmth, the cutchin, beans on toast or a roast, whatever it is. But reach out to your neighbours. If you got spare, bring them in and share the love. There's nothing better than hordes of people all tucking into food and having laughter around the dinner table.
And some of the cafes are doing it. I saw one yesterday. They've got an upstairs cafe, so they've opened it, the lounge area, to anybody to go in the day and have coffee, take a newspaper, so they're in the warm.
Where?
They can help.
Cornwall?
I can't remember. Yes, it's in Cornwall. It's Falmouth or Campbell. It's around our area. I'll try and find out and we'll post that as well. And people can just turn up and just spend the day in a warm area and have some food if they want to, or just take something with them that they need, that they can eat in a
So
warm
you know
environment.
us. You know us. If you have any questions or you want to get in touch with us, we are Helen and Pat, and we are on email at info@iCareIMove.com. You can always phone the office 0800 0541 118. The subjects today are quite deep, but we're here to listen and to share and support. And we work with Chaos. These guys have got signposts all over the place as well. So reach out to us, have a conversation with us. We've really enjoyed today. It's been tough, but we've got being there for each other and shining light on each other is so important. Look after yourself, and we'll see you soon.